This message is for everyone following conformitygate, Looking Glass Project, the New Romantics, all the things. Everyone wants to believe that art still matters in a time of unprecedented consolidation of power, and it does. Stranger Things, the fake play they were going to do was Oklahoma, and the real play was a takeoff on the dark side of Moon, which is the shadow. We play in the shadows because it is not safe to challenge the empire alone. My central thesis revolves around the moon being the central metaphor for the underlying problems we have with human civilization on Earth. If that's not for you, stick around and learn something. Think of a disco ball, and that is our fake moon. It's a stand-in for what is not being reflected in our society, which is the equity of all people, traditionally understood as a binary. Let's go back to the Da Vinci Code. All those hidden messages were about the suppression of the divine feminine. Da Vinci was a true Renaissance man, and he is the one who first came up with the idea that the phases of the moon are the shadow of Earth, and most of the luminescence of the moon comes from the Earth and not the sun. Thusly, the dark side of the moon could be a metaphor for Earth actually being the dark side. Even Star Wars is fighting the dark side, and we have twins that are separated, Princess Leia and Han Solo. In art and literature, everyone is referencing those that inspired them to become creators themselves. The most important binary in human existence is creation versus destruction. I don't care what your belief system is, as most of them purportedly are for good. In Grimm's fairy tales, think Hansel and Gretel. Hans is short for Hansel, so Han Solo, right? He is alone. The suppression of the divine feminine has created an underlying system, and the implication of how a lot of people discuss feminism is often with total disregard for the system of chivalry as a protective factor in a world where the binary creates the virgin and the matron. What's in between? The harlot. Even in A Handmaid's Tale, the colors are representative of their given roles within that culture. Even with a belle, they were a metaphor for women, or different types of flowers. You'll see how women are named. So when Daenerys burns down the kingdom, she was triggered by a bell ringing. And every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings. When we think of all this conversation around child sacrifice, a huge part of upholding the binary, both done by women and men in their respective roles, was regulating fertility and childbirth. When you think of Disney princesses, based on mostly German folktales, the mother is absent, but it is typically the supernatural female form, the ghost, that or fairy, that assists the princess in getting what she wants, which traditionally was to be protected by the institution of marriage. When you think of a deck of playing cards, a house of cards, if you will, the reason the red is hearts and diamonds and the black is clubs and spades, tools of working people, you can extend that further into understanding why it is the Queen of Hearts in red that wants to paint the rose and is the major antagonist for Alice. If you think of the Cold War, you have the Red Scare and the Black List. The naming of these phenomena of oppression and censorship are on purpose if you think about what the Red Scare did and what the Blacklist did. Think of taking the black in Game of Thrones, which is suppression of bodily desire for moral cause. You'll understand further. One of the most consequential misunderstandings of science in the natural world is equivocating darkness, an absence of light, with color. All the colors together make black, and all the light together makes white. That's the true binary.